Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's Vistage Manufacturing Network webinar. Our presentation today is with speaker Seher Gaddis, who's the co-founder and Chief Revenue Officer of Flawless Inbound. With over 25 years of business and technology experience, Seher oversees the professional services and operations aspects of the company. His recipe for success: a team of A-plus talents, a growth mindset, and lots of endurance. Since the founding of Flawless Inbound in 2014, Seher and team have worked with 120 plus B2B organizations everywhere from 10 million revenue to 200 million in revenue, bringing true digital transformation to their day-to-day operations and pushing them on their journey to growth. It's my pleasure to welcome him as our speaker today. Seher, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Bill, and just make sure everybody can see my video. I'm here to say hi, hello, and thank you for giving us this 1 hour today. So I'll just shut down my video and start my slides. And I just want to say it's definitely an honor and exciting time to be speaking to you. We all understand really what's happening in the market, and I'm here to kind of share with you my learning of how manufacturing clients have gone and embarked on a digital journey, especially during this interesting time. As Bill said, yes, we are a Vistage member and part of the manufacturing community. We have worked with a lot of Vistage clients before on the digital journey. We work with also very specific brands like Oracle, Netsuite, and Hubspot. So that's kind of from a high level my story. Now, here's what we're going to cover today. First, let's understand and appreciate the impact that we're having, because this is very critical to us as founders and CEO or business leaders in the manufacturing community. So I just want to go through this first of all and understand we're on the same page or not. Then I'm going to cover 3 phases that I have seen working closely with manufacturing company, how they're planning for 2021. And then from there, I'm going to share 5 stages when it comes to truly digital transformation for your organization, with 6 core functions that we'll speak about, and then a value assessment tool that hopefully you can take to your leadership team to be able to bring focus back into operation, and some closing remarks. Okay, let's start. So very interesting time. If somebody's been in business for 30, 40 years, we never seen this in anywhere, shape or form. Either in our MBA schools, in our business schools, in our consulting, we've never seen anything like that. We have seen that we're being hit by a lot of things. Uncertainty in the supply chain, demand volatility, constrained capacity, especially in manufacturing and logistics right now, human risk, either in balancing labor shortage, maybe health issues, safety of employees, and of course, unpredictable downtime that we don't need. So I want to make sure that this session is engaging. So I have a question for everyone today on the call. You guys will see a pull question. Out of what I shared with you right now, which one do you think that is a high pain point for you right now? So is it you have an account receivable problem? Do you have an inventory management problem? Maybe you have different business units that you want to collaborate with. Maybe you need to go back to recovery and sales. What's really kind of the biggest thing right now? And by the way, thank you so much for engaging. Like, I'm seeing also the number here adjusting as we go through that. It's beautiful. So far, I think, Bill, I'm hearing a lot of inventory management. That's kind of the biggest. There's a little bit of lower net profit. Okay, here you go. So 58% are echoing inventory management. And of course, some it's just collaboration with different organization. Net new logos is 8% and lower net profit, which might be a conclusion of that. Okay, and that actually makes sense. This is kind of how we have been seeing other organization evolving right now, which is how can I manage my inventory and how can I control my cost and my operation as we are moving forward. So thank you for engaging in this pool question. This is what we have seen. When we start speaking about resilient supply chain, we need to bring back prediction, intelligent agility in this kind of environment. So we understand that one of the key things when it comes to inventory management is visibility, right? Do I have visibility into what's the right product? Is it priced properly right now? Is it in the right place? Can I ship it in a proper time? And is that the right cost for me? And I'm making enough profit on it or not? That's one of the key things we start hearing. The other thing is sourcing, right? Can I where can I source the right products? And where are the supplies? Can I identify material in short supply? Can I right size my inventory during that time? And then my team who's going to be helping in maybe augmenting this supply. So are they kind of having a proper health environment? Did COVID affect any of my workforce? Can I get the best out of what I have from my team right now? So all of those were things that I start kind of listening to and hearing from. But I think the biggest thing is exactly visibility into inventory management. The other thing also that I heard from a lot of my clients is balancing manufacturing. So bringing offshore back into nearshoring and onshoring. Start seeing some of our clients that actually start building kind of war room units and retail centers and moving inventory between centers into the US and Canada versus maybe waiting for overseas supply that comes in. So, taking all of that in consideration, I now want to share with you the three-phased approach when you're thinking about 2021. And in summary, it's respond, recover, and reimagine. So one of the key things what we've seen working with a lot of clients into that space is if you're thinking about the respond phase, and by the way, before I go there and just discussing with you guys the three phases, respond, recover, reimagine, I will ask the team to send you guys a link. This is actually a tool. If you have the time, click on it and download this tool. This is a tool we created to help you take it and go back to your leadership team and define the value assessment tool. I'm going to spend a lot of time on that in the second half of my presentation today. So just I want to acknowledge that you guys got a link right now. Just click on the link, just fill in the information, you get the tool downloaded, and then you can actually use it either during the presentation today or later on to work with your leadership team. So let's discuss the response phase. So when I say we are in a respond, reactive kind of zone, this is nothing wrong with that. We all have been there for the first at least 6 months of our operation. But one of the things that we have seen people are doing is maybe we're kind of thinking outside the box. So alternative innovation and product design. How can we substitute components in some bill of materials due to shortage? Because maybe some of the raw materials was coming from overseas. So do we have a system or a process in place that can actually capture this shortage and send us a warning or an alarm to do that? Of course, we also have seen spikes in unpredictable needs for specific components of our manufacturing. So I'll tell you, for example, that I've seen a lot of manufacturing, they're retooling their equipments to, for example, create face shields and PPC masks and all those kind of things, or cleaning equipments to be able to quickly ship to demand. So maybe some of you guys are doing that already. The other thing is logistics. So are we actually truly communicating and picking the right distribution and transportation channels so that we can ship hopefully on time, even during the crisis that we're in? And then the final thing is creating a zero downtime. So we understand that you have a lot of assets. And of course, one of the critical assets you have, not just the material, but also the people that you are kind of working with. So are we taking care of our team? Are we getting the best value of our team during that time? And especially that I know everybody is working remotely, but of course in manufacturing, that's not the case. You still need people on the manufacturing floors and on the control units. And so, do I know exactly how much time are they spending on the line of production? And is that profitable for me or not? So that's kind of the phase that we have seen a lot of clients stepping into, which is called the response phase. Again, nothing wrong with that, but it's very critical for us to understand what phase are we in. Then, when we start thinking about the recovery phase, as a leader of your organization, I want you to think about it this way. think about this circle here, which is design, plan, manufacture, deliver, operate, and network. Think about it more as a flywheel. Your mission as a leader is to add force when needed, but also remove friction when needed. So if you think about a model of designing, is what kind of new product and tools that do I need to pivot my line of production towards? And if I'm planning, am I planning properly the source of material? Am I knowing exactly where is it picked, packed, and shipped? From a manufacturing perspective, what's my cost? What's my labor cost and all those kind of things? From a delivery, how am I delivering it right now? And from an operation, you guys got the idea. And then the main thing is in networking, we have seen some of our clients actually are moving into the model of ramping up new operation into different states in the US right now and empowering their employee to move between operation but still have an ERP solution that they can have access to all the time cloud-based. So in summary, we find that especially when you speak about networking is, are you connected with the right supplier, the right logistics, and the right team members? Do you have, let's say, retail centers, small retail centers that you can still push out products from, but it still can put and bring orders from a different inventory platform or inventory units from completely a different location. So this is what we mean by networking between your divisions. The other thing is when you start now thinking about reimagining, which is the third phase, and we're going to spend more time on this today, this is more of when you go back and think about your business units inside of your organization. So maybe you have selling and order management, that's kind of one function. Billing and invoicing, another function. Financial management, procurement, technology, you guys got it, right? You need to think about what's priority for you right now, what's foundation to you, and how can you evolve it to make it more competitive? How can you be the best in class, and how can you be transformative in that? So again, as a reminder, while I'm doing the presentation today, please make sure to click on the link that was shared with you and download, because I'm going to use some of those in my conversation with you today. Okay, so we quickly covered the basic three phases. Now I'm going to share with you the 5 stages to digital transformation that hopefully can help us understand how we can evolve and how can we really reimagine manufacturing and manufacturing 4.0 when it comes to 2021 and beyond. So those 5 stages is as follows. Maybe right now you have mission critical function that you want to digitize. And this can be maybe your financial, your CRM integrated to your financial, your order processing, inventory management. We heard it loud and clear in the beginning of our webinar today. That's kind of one of the critical things that we want to start automating and have more visibility on. And maybe discrete manufacturing and kind of essential manufacturing, how can I focus more on that? We define this with our clients as we are in an established phase. We want to secure our grounds and make sure that those are the core functions that need to be digitized first. Then from there, we go into the model of elevate. Now, I want to be adding more value to my distribution channel. I want to add more value to my end user channel. So, do we have a plan to start building a commerce platform on our website so that our distribution channel have a membership section where they can log in and see our SKUs and they can start putting orders in? But more importantly, when they put the order in, is it truly connected to our warehouse? And can it actually give the right visibility into availability? Can it also connect with our procurement department so that it will trigger an order out to our vendors so that we start building new items and shipping them as well? How can I actually connect everything with people management and payroll and financial management? To me, that's called an elevate phase. So think about it. Established phase is more mission critical, things that need to be digitized immediately so that then I can do more with less and I can actually have full visibility into my payroll, my cash flow, the inventory levels that I'm having, and so on and so forth. The second thing is the elevate phase is now things that I want to improve on and really kind of take it to next steps and things that I want to kind of do better of. And how can I manage inventory? Then we go into expand. Now this is where now we want to actually go back and speak about expansion, speaks about covering new grounds. So do I have business insight? Can I do budget planning properly? Can I have a production management dashboard to understand, can I forecast future orders coming in or not? From there, I go to the accelerate phase, which means now my sales and order management are actually connected together. I'm not using 3 or 4 or 5 different softwares and maybe a couple of Excel sheets to kind of figure this one out. Can I connect my project and revenue management together? Do I have a full omni-channel, and am I really customer-centric or not? Then, of course, the dominate phase, which is now, this is where you start building a lot of business, AI, machine learning into everything that I said today. So those are the 5 phases that we usually use when we're working with our clients. Those are the same 5 phases that I would maybe advise all the leadership team today that are joining the call to take back to the organization and sit with your team and understand which phase are you really in. Also, those are the 5 phases that I would advise that if you're embarking on a digital transformation journey, it's actually going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you have to think about it as a phased approach in implementation. Think about as if you're eating a big elephant, but one piece at a time, right? So you need to figure out, what am I really trying to achieve, and what is more critical to the business right now, especially stepping into 2021 with all the conditions that we know we have, and we know we're not going to change, at least for the near future. So here's another pull question for everyone. The question is, what phase you think your organization is at right now? Are we in the establish phase? Are we in the elevate phase? In the expand, accelerate, and dominate? And again, just as a reminder, the establish phase is mission critical. Things that need to be working properly, they are not there yet. That's an established phase. And then moving up, it's more of scaling. How can I scale? How can I improve? How can I bring manufacturing 4.0, BI, machine learning into how I take decision on things? Perfect. I can see, wow, I can see almost a split, like 1/3 between the establish, elevate, and expand. And this is actually, this is great. This is very good. So this means actually that we have mixed audience, which is very good, because now that actually helped me go into the next level of my slides. Again, as a reminder, you should see on the chat the tool that I would advise you guys download, and you can actually use when you go back to your leadership team. By the way, let's be all honest here. We have very few of our clients who are in the accelerate and dominate phase. This means you guys really know what you're doing, and you kind of, you manage COVID effect, and everything is going fine. So don't be shy away that you're still in the establish or the elevate. Almost all our clients are in that phase, kind of we're moving them forward. Great. So now let's move to the 6 core functions that I would love to share with you, so that you can at least make sure, if you are in the establish or the elevate phase, you really need to kind of bottom up correctly and make sure that those should be your highest focus area that you need to digitize first. Okay, so what are those 6 core functions? I want you to think about it this way. Think about them as building block. Financial management is the core of everything. It needs to be connected to everything you do. So right now, if you feel that your financial management software or technology is not really connected, hopefully natively, with other divisions or line of business, that might be something you really need to think of. But then in the core of everything, item management. And if you think about item management really kind of the orchestrator. We call it in manufacturing, it's the design to build model. of operation. Or if you have been in manufacturing for 30, 40 plus years, which I think some of us are, so I think you will remember item management as MRP, material resource planning, or inventory planning. And if I remember correctly, in the beginning of our slides today, a lot of us just kind of raised their hand saying, yes, I have a lot of issues there and I need to figure it out. As soon as we figure item management, which as you can see, it's in the middle of everything to do, then the item management now should be connected to lead to quote, order to cash, return to credit, procure to pay, and return to debt. And as you can see in my slides, it's so critical to understand who are the leaders who will be engaged in managing those KPIs. Usually we work with a lot of ERP platforms and cloud-based digital transformation solutions. When we design the solution, we need to understand the humans that are going to be using that solution. The human capital is sometimes even more important than the technology stack that we're going to choose together. So if you can see here in my slides, I need to understand how my controller is managing his and her day each and every day. As a leader, who is the line of business executive who's managing my inventory system? What's the KPI I gave them in the beginning of my fiscal year? How about my purchasing and AR personnel, or AP, account payable? How about my sales team and accounts receivable? And of course, my inventory manager, who's kind of really carrying the load with me right now. We have worked with a lot of solutions. Oracle NetSuite is kind of one of our core platforms that we have helped a lot of clients in implementation. And we know it does come with a lot of reporting and come with preset KPIs and scorecards that can help you in having this conversation with your team. So if I want to go further, can be a snapshot of a dashboard that a leader in a manufacturing organization can have. You can actually launch a dashboard like that in less than 90 days. And especially in this new conditions where you need everything is secured, cloud-based, your management team is working remotely from anywhere, you now can customize this dashboard to match exactly the KPIs that you can configure in the dashboard. So when I speak about customization, that's what I'm speaking about. Financial management, the charter of account, journal entry, bank connection, bank reconciliation, the tax schedules, period of close. I know some of the organization, they do the closing 17 times in the year, right? So you do them 12 months, which is each month you need closing, but then you do them 4 times for quarterly, then you do them one more time for year end. Imagine closing period is always a big panic for organizations. If you're closing always because everything is connected, you don't need to waste your accounting time for that. Budgeting doesn't need to happen now only by Q4 or year end. Budgeting can actually be happening on monthly basis. Financial reports, you don't need to wait for your accountant anymore or accounting department to do financial reports. If now everything is connected, you can get financial report instantly, and so on. And of course, you can control who should see that. But let's go back to basic. We said inventory management was one of our core problems that we need to think of. I want to think about inventory management literally as 5 components. The first one is, what kind of reports do I need from my inventory management software? What's the pricing strategy that I can give there? And if I'm going to order from a vendor, what's the deal? What kind of pricing? How can I ship it? Can I track the product, the raw material, when it comes into my storage facility? And can this be tracked from the minute a box hits in my facility to the point that it can reflect in my inventory software, actually to the point that it can reflect in my commerce platform where my distribution can put orders? And the answer to all of that, yes, that is actually possible, but it needs to be designed accordingly. Last thing I want to say in inventory management, just in this slide, is you need to think about 5 strategies. What's revenue, cost, warranty, expiry date? That's one thing. Procurement. What's the right vendor and the preferred vendor of my choice? And entry price that then connect with accounting, and item performance. Is the item that I'm ordering right now, Is it the one on demand really? And do I have data that can support it? Am I getting the right profit margin out of it? Because I heard in the beginning of our call today, net profit also was one of the concern of some of our attendants today. So you can actually connect that with the expected net profit out of each and every item management as well. Now let's go to lead to code. Lead to code is process number 2 that you need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, are we designing this properly? So when a lead comes in, who's managing the opportunity? Is it slow in my sales process? Is somebody taking care of it from my team? Especially if some of us are working with a lot of distribution channel. So now I can have one distributor bringing in like 200 quotes for me, but I can have another distribution only bringing in 1 or 2 a month. How I'm managing this prospect, how I'm sending the quote, and is it connected to the third process, which is order to cash? And by the way, when you see my slides, you're seeing a special arrow going in one direction or the other way. When you build and re-optimize your business process, it's very critical to step away from the current capacity and capability that you have in your legacy platform and think about how you want to reimagine this operating unit. And then figure out as a leader, where should you add force? Where should you remove friction? And as soon as you do that, then I can say, congratulations. Now we're really speaking about a proper digital transformation for our operation. The third one is order to cash. So now, do we have, let's say, retail centers? And those retail centers, when I say retail centers, don't visualize them as real retail centers. They can be online retail centers. Do we understand our fulfillment? What if we can fulfill this order? Can we do it or not? If we don't, how can we work around it? Can I put an order to start kind of getting more products into my back door or not? Is the invoicing going out on time? Invoice to delivery, how it's happening? And did I really receive the customer payment, or do I need somebody to actually work harder on my account receivable? Traditionally, in any of the process I'm sharing with everybody today, you would see that maybe you're doing some of that in a manual way. Maybe you're adding a lot of human capital to fix manual gaps that you have in your operation. So what I'm suggesting is in any of the process that I'm sharing with you, let's try to figure out how can we digitize some of it and how to make sure that there is a KPI number that you have in mind that's shared with your leadership team, but also at the same time easily exposed in a dashboard that you can see it and the leader of this line of business can see it. So in this scenario, because it's order to cash, then the sales, the account receivable, and the inventory manager can see the same view that you're seeing right now. Okay. Now, if I go to return to credit, so let's say you have RMA. So you shipped something, it's not the right unit, it was not the right SKU, not the right quantity, or maybe for some reason there is a malfunction. So what happens when this product comes back to our operation? Do I have a receipt? Can I create a credit memo? And then how do I do the refunding? Do I refund the client? Do I build a credit account? And when I receive the unit, what do I do with the unit? Do I send it back to my vendor? Do I balance the sending back to make it on a quarterly basis or monthly basis? Again, that's a very basic model of thinking about this model of returning to credit. And as you can see, the roles or the people that will be engaged in this model is sales, accounts receivable, and again, inventory manager need to be involved in this model too. If I go to the next one, procure to pay. So now we're getting new orders. And if you remember, my first slide today was volatility and spike in demand. I need to control that. So if I'm getting 500 orders that I was not expecting I need to fulfill in the next, let's say, 60 to 90 days, I need my inventory management to be working and collaborating closely with my purchasing manager and with my account payable. So when I speak about collaboration, I don't mean the business messaging platform. I don't mean video conferencing. I mean real collaboration. So if somebody creates a purchase order, is it captured in item receipt? How the item receipt is reflected? Is it reflected properly? in the vendor bill order, and did I pay the vendor bill or not, or do I have a credit facility with that vendor? Oh, and by the way, do I have preference vendors as well that I can choose depending on their performance with me as a client? So again, when we speak about digital transformation in this specific area, then you need to look to it as a process, as a holistic process. My question again to everybody attending today is where we are from that, how much did we digitize out of this, and the rest of the process, are you okay to keep it manual? And if not, what kind of software and tools are you using? Are those software tools are truly integrated together or not? And then, of course, another one is returning to that process. So now vendor credit, managing the vendor credit, and did the vendor refund us or not? We've seen this being missed a lot. And so if did the vendor fund us? No, okay, how can I apply this credit for future order? Or if the vendor did fund us, great, so now where should I do with this dollar value? I'm going to manage it in the vendor fund accounts that I have or not. So as you can see, without going into more details, those are kind of, I would say, the basic 6 functions that I shared with you today in less than 15 minutes that can then give you the ability as a leader of a manufacturing organization to see the dashboard and everything is connected. So what you guys see here is this is a sample of a dashboard that can be, it's a cloud-based, it can be fully customized for your operation, and you can launch this dashboard in less than 90 days because now it's connected with all your line of business. It's connected with your team that's going to be managing this process, and it is connected with your back end. So it can be the financial systems, your inventory systems, your account receivable, account payable, and things like that. Now, I want you to just imagine for a second that anybody who looks into the platform, they will see different numbers depending on the role in your organization. As a founder CEO or as a VP of operation or COO, you can actually identify the core KPIs that you're going to be measuring your team and get measured on from a performance perspective. Each thing here can be applicable to get you to where you want to go. Great. So as soon as we do all of that, my hope then that we truly become customer centric, even though we understand that we're operating the organization in a very volatile manner due to COVID, but now we can say that as a manufacturing, we're customer centric again. Because now with the 6 processes that I just shared with you quickly, you can now have a better ordering experience, you can have a better product creation experience. Hopefully, we'll have a better delivery experience, which then reflect on a much better service experience. And I understand that some of us today, maybe they don't deal with the end user directly. Maybe they deal first with their distributor channels. And then the distributor channels are the one that dealing with the end user. And we heard this loud and clear with a lot of manufacturing company ask us about how can we know who are usually the end users, and can I run a report where I can backward engineer and decide on which vertical market should I start building products for in the future? And the answer is yes, absolutely we can do that, because in any ERP platform now, you should get kind of an AI or machine learning component that can actually give you some of those visibility or not. But again, as I said, when you think about digital transformation, please don't get too excited about AI and machine learning right now. Let's walk the baby steps first to make sure that our core foundation is digitized properly in the 6 process that I have shared with you so far. And then from there, we can go and expand to different levels of communication and operation. Okay, so here is what we covered so far. We were on the same page of what did COVID really did to our business. And then I shared with you the three-phase approach of how are we react. Are we in a react mode? Are we in a reimagine mode? And so on. And then I shared with you the 5 stages that you need to think of when you start stepping into a true digital transformation journey. And again, as a reminder, we said be very careful with the scope of your project. Don't get too excited about what the future can bring. Just focus on the core component of what you want to cover. And then I shared the 6 core functions that hopefully can help your inventory management and operation line of business connect together, because now they have immediate visibility to everything that's going on. Now, I hope at that stage of my presentation, at least some of you have clicked on the link and just downloaded a tool that I'm going to share with you right now, because this is a very important critical next step. We call it the value assessment tool. This tool we have used with all our 120 clients. We have helped them in digital transformation before, especially when they are slowly applying an ERP cloud-based solution like Oracle NetSuite or maybe Hubspot when it comes to CRM and marketing automation. This tool is so critical to you that I would encourage you that this is the first thing you need to look at when you go back to your operation. So what does this tool bring to us? It brings focus, even though I know that this slide is so confusing. But bear with me just for a minute. I want you to go back to your business operation and think about it as there is different line of business inside your operation. You have engineering, you have commerce, you have sales and marketing, order management, supply chain, HR, technology. You guys got it. Then here is what I want you to do. I want you to label red as critical. Like meaning, if I want to run and grow my organization, and actually by 2021, 2022, so in the next 12 to 20 months, 12 to 24 months, I want to capture new grounds and build new distribution relationship and maybe pivot and shift to new micro industries, I need to fix those in my operation. To me, that's defined as critical or red flag. What does that mean also? This means that me and my leadership team need to be heads down, hands on deck, focus on fixing that in the next 3 to 6 months. That's red to me. Then yellow might be things that are kind of nice to have. I really need them, but they're not as critical. Blue or green will be things that I really want to do so that then I can start expanding, I can start growing, and I can start dominating my market. So those are the 3 red flags we're going to, 3 flags we're going to use. Then the other thing is, if I'm thinking about, let's say, commerce, sales and marketing, let's say inventory management, are we kind of working with it, which is foundation stage? Are we really kind of competing and we're kind of enhancing our model, or are we now best in class and we want to truly be a transformation organization when we do that? So I believe that this tool can help you come with new vocabulary when you're working with your leadership team. Not only that, let's say when you're working with a vendor, an ERP vendor, and we work closely with Oracle NetSuite. We are a system integrator to Oracle and NetSuite and HubSpot. But this is kind of how we usually start our engagement. We sit down the leadership team and say, which function you want to fix. Now, here's the thing. You need, like, forget about the first slide. The second slide is more cleaner, right? So here is my question to all the audience today. If I heard it loud and clear that inventory management is one of the core things we need to take care of immediately. I totally get that. But if I may, with full respect, I would advise everyone to understand, is that a symptom or is that a root cause? Is our problem really starting that we don't have a proper financial management and global reporting? Do we have a technology barrier problem? That's why we're doing a lot of things manually. Do we have an HR issue because maybe we're having different workforce that need to be adjusted and optimized? How about our budgeting and forecasting? how is our sales and order management? Is it connected with all of that? Or I'm using, let's say, Salesforce or SFDC for sales and order management that somehow is duct taped with maybe a legacy accounting platform that only my accounting department can see, that somehow duct taped with my HR tool, and I'm dealing with 4 or 5 or 6 different vendors. Why I'm asking all those questions right now? Because I know that there are some cloud-based ERP platform can at least fix 70% of what you guys are looking for. And by the way, when I say 70%, I'm trying to be very transparent and honest in my answer, because I don't think you would get an ERP that can fix 100% of all what you have. But if you're 70% there, then at least we're starting in the right direction. So here is a poll. Here's a poll right now. Is which of what I shared with you guys today, you guys are okay to label them as red flags, something that I need to fix in the next 3 to 6 months. By the way, don't worry, we have 2 poll questions. We just aggregated the 6 divisions on 2 questions. Okay. I think we're getting some results here. Okay. Beautiful. And then there's another poll question as well. Here you go. So sales, thank you. So I can see almost 42 sales and order management. So as a reminder again, if you remember in the beginning of our session, we said, is it really inventory management or not? So some of you guys start thinking about, hey, you know what? Maybe the core problem is somewhere else. Thank you. So now there's another poll question coming your way. Again, just as a reminder, label which 1 or 2 are critical. You need to label them as red flags that you need to go back to the organization and work on. Okay, I'm seeing warehouse management is fighting with billing and invoicing. I can see that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so clearly budgeting and forecasting is there, but warehouse management is still kind of front and center. So here is then how we would think about things. I hope again everybody is seeing in the chat the link. Click on it and download this tool, because I would suggest you can use this tool to help you ask the right question to your leadership team and your division department managers to understand of what are we really fixing here. So let's say this is part of the things we do when we help clients. Sales and order management. Those are some of the questions you ask for. So how am I managing sales and orders right now? And then of course, one of the key things will be the KPIs that you want to measure and go. So would it mean, is your company shorter on orders to cash? For example, do you have a 360 view on the customers who are actually kind of growing your business or not? That's if it's sales and order management. If it's billing and invoicing, right? So I will ask, describe products or service you sell on a recurring basis. How many invoices are you typically sending out per month? The real problem usually I hear is days sales outstanding. Great. Let's put a KPI to measure days sales outstanding. And for example, do you have errors in your invoices? If we can reduce those amount of errors, would that help you to move to the next level or not? For example, how many of the time were not billed properly to your organization and so on? If I'm speaking about financial and reporting, you would see here, those are the questions we usually work on with our clients before even we go in and pick an ERP solution and start doing our system integration and coaching the users on how to use the system and build a change management program around that. That's all our questions that we would use all the time if we decide together that financial management and global reporting is one of the things. Budget and forecasting, I heard that too. So again, how can we ask the right questions with our leadership team to be doing more? I think you guys got the idea. that this is kind of how we're going to be able to do all of that. Ask the right questions. From there, you're giving your solution integrator and your ERP vendor the right direction so that then they can start picking the right licensing and they start giving you the right value of the platform that you choose to use as your ERP solution for the future. And of course, we have worked with a lot of companies and with Oracle NetSuite to be able to do that. This is the result. This is what we want at the end of the day. It's not about what technology and what layer. We want to make sure that you are fixing the right problems so that you can get better in operation and reduce any error that comes into receiving, processing, storage, fulfillment, and customer demand. So that then you can have a dashboard, a cloud-based dashboard that can work on all aspects. Okay, so I hope all of you guys downloaded the value assessment tool. Here is my quick takeaways right now. I know we're all stepping into Q4 if you're on a calendar year, or somehow you're in budget planning right now. The first homework that I would ask all the leadership team today on the call to do is decide on what phase are you in. Are you in a respond phase, recover, or reimagine? Because as soon as you decide on that, you know exactly what you need to do next. That's question number one, or homework number one. Homework number two, if you guys remember, I shared with you the true 5 phases of digital transformation. And if I remember correctly, almost 90% of the audience said we're almost in the first 3 phases, distributed equally, if I remember correctly. Great. So my next thing is, what do you need to fix in those phases? So if you remember, now you have a tool that can help you label red, yellow, or green on what do you really need to focus on in the next 3 to 6 months. And then as soon as you label that, then I gave you a framework of the right questions to ask, so then you can pick the right ERP platform for you. And of course, we are here to help as an organization. I'm a Vistage member, worked a lot of Vistage members before. We carry 2 brands, and we did help before on a lot of phased approach of ERP implementation. So I'll pause here and say thank you so much for attending the session today. Bill, I'm hoping there was some questions coming your way.
Yeah, thanks, Seher. We had a couple of people asking where to find that link, and there is a chat panel to the right of your screen, and if you can't find that, it's at the bottom of the slide that is on the panel right now. It's on your screen right now. Seher, we're going to answer some questions from participants. Everybody can still submit text questions by typing your questions into the questions panel, the drop-down box on the control panel on the right-hand side of the screen. And our first question is, how long does it take for a full digital transformation project?
Thank you. That's a great question. And I need to be very careful when I answer this question, because assuming that we are speaking about a phased approach, right? So for assuming that we're speaking about a phased approach, meaning we're not implementing everything, right? So if it's a phased approach to attack the red flags, usually, if done properly, let's say with a solution like Oracle NetSuite, usually it takes around 90 days to at least launch and have a dashboard working. Now, from there, change management is critical. Training your team and getting feedback from the team is critical as well, so that we can go into a phase of improvement, optimization, risk mitigation, and so on. And I know when I say 90 days, I bet you a lot of people fell off their chair, and I'll tell you why. Because usually an ERP solution usually takes 12 months, 16 months, maybe 2 years. But with the new agile ERP platform that we have out in the market, like Oracle NetSuite, you can actually be more agile and faster in launching an ERP platform in a specific challenging point that you have, and you can get it operational in 90 days.
Excellent, thank you. How do you budget for digital transformation for a project like this?
So I guess one of the key things is, again, we agree that we'll define a scope, right? And then from that scope, usually there are 3 components to look for. The first one is the vendor license. So let's say if I'm looking for a platform like an Oracle NetSuite or Microsoft Dynamics or others, The first thing is make sure that somebody is really helping you understanding what you are buying. That's called the vendor license, right? Some of the vendors maybe might be a capital cost for you. So it's more of a CapEx versus an OpEx. That's one line item. The second line item is a solution integrator who can come in and help you in the discovery phase, in the implementation phase, in the optimization, the change management, and other things. And then the final thing is make sure in your budget there is part of training and part of maintenance and ongoing support. So those are the three kind of at least line items that I think of when I am kind of thinking about budgeting for a platform like that. I think I'm getting some feedback. I'm not sure if you guys.
Yeah, Allison, if you could mute until it's time to come on, that'd be terrific. Say here, is there a single ERP solution that can have connections to all lines of business in the organization?
And you know what? I'm great because I actually have Allison with me on the call today, and Allison is from Oracle NetSuite. So because we have implemented Oracle NetSuite for a lot of our manufacturing client, Vistage client in the US and Canada. So we can see that the closest that we can see as a true ERP solution that can connect with all your division is something like an Oracle NetSuite. And it's really designed for organizations who are from 10 million in revenue to 200 million in revenue. And then we have seen that this platform is cloud-based. Security is one of the core components that is included in that platform. And the main core thing that it comes almost with all the components you need without the need to go and get other third-party software to do integration optimization.
And we had a couple questions about whether this will be emailed out, and we can assure you that you will receive an email link to this presentation as per usual from Vistage sometime next week. Another question for you, Seher, what makes Oracle, NetSuite, and Hubspot better than other options available in the market?
So I think we have worked with a lot of other platforms. Think about Microsoft Nav, which is Microsoft Dynamics, right? We work with SAP HANA and other things. They are good platforms, but only for organizations maybe who are 500 million in revenue and up. But the sweet spot that we have seen really working well for manufacturing in the range of 10 million to $50 million or $60 million revenue was the Oracle NetSuite, because easy to use, faster to implement, and they design it in a way of a phased approach, right? And they can actually share lesson learned because they have other clients that have deployed and implemented. Also, they have very specific components of their software that's designed to fix real critical problems for warehouse management, financial management, inventory management, HR, project management, and the whole 9 yards. So in all my slides today, you guys, I was sharing some of the dashboard of how an Oracle NetSuite would look like after deployment in 90 days. On the HubSpot side, we've seen that there is native integration between Oracle NetSuite and HubSpot, especially when it comes to CRM, marketing automation, website design, and other things as well. So that's why, as Flawless and Bound, we're carrying those two brands. We believe in them because we can see they have been so easy for us to implement and deploy for our clients, which means your operational cost, your implementation consulting is dramatically lower than other environments as well.
One of our listeners asked, what is the difference between HubSpot and NetSuite?
Thank you. Big difference. HubSpot is not an ERP solution. HubSpot is only good in two things: marketing automation and CRM. But if I'm looking for a full enterprise operational ERP platform, that is the Oracle NetSuite. So really, again, go back and think about where is your red flag right now? Is it like connecting your warehouse management solution with your CRM, with your financial? Then we need to speak more about Oracle NetSuite. If you already have an ERP platform and you're happy with, but now you want to add more force and enable your sales team and marketing team with other things, then maybe we need to speak about HubSpot from that perspective. And by the way, both platforms work very well together, and there is native integration, so there is no big cost in the integration and the system operational aspect of it.
Seher, I know you have Allison Keener also on the line. I don't have a specific question for her, but maybe you have a comment you'd like her to make?
Absolutely. Allison, I hope you're still on the call.
I am.
Perfect. Allison, I know your expertise comes in from the NetSuite, Oracle, warehouse management, things like that. What are the key big challenges you heard from manufacturing that you're working with each and every day that you think that at least an ERP platform can help them with?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, right, was reiterated by the polling questions today, right? Inventory management is a huge one. Whether that's, tools like demand planning, which obviously goes hand in hand with supply planning, with supply allocation, which is a new function in Oracle NetSuite today, allows you to, determine which orders, whether it's work orders or sales orders or transfer orders, right? Inventory should be committed to. Even inventory that has not arrived at the facility yet, okay? Oracle NetSuite supplies all of those types of functions, as well as the many different flavors of manufacturing that Oracle NetSuite provides, right? From what we call our light manufacturing, basic work orders and assemblies, to introduction of whip-in routings, introduction of our advanced manufacturing module, right? Which introduces a manufacturing workbench and capacity planning and a lot of additional tools that go with it. To other operational areas like quality management, right? Like warehouse management, all tools that Oracle NetSuite does maintain, and all of which work on the same platform, same data infrastructure, work together seamlessly for helping in really all of those areas and all of those challenges, right? Across your supply chain within your four walls, and so on.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Hey, one last question for you, Seher. What is your opinion on Sightline, if you have one?
I heard about it. I don't have a lot of kind of feedback on it. I can ask my team, but I'm not sure, Allison, if you heard about Sightline.
Nope, I don't. Yeah, apologize. I don't know much about Sightline.
Okay,
No
we'll take
problem.
that as a no, and let's leave it there. Seher, we thank you and Allison so much for sharing your time and invaluable knowledge with us all today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Vistage. Really appreciate it.
And we want to thank all of our participants. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. As a reminder, please complete the survey that pops up right after we finish. We appreciate your feedback. And if you'd like to talk to Seher directly, you can indicate that in the survey. Thank you all so much for attending today. Have a great rest of your day.